another Parts Factory installation tutorial video. Today we're going to be working on an AU Falcon. We're going to be changing the power steering pump unit. Now I believe this tutorial video should be applicable for any AU Falcons between 1997 and 2003 roughly. Fairly straightforward job. I'd probably expect this is going to take about half an hour, maybe a little bit longer if you've never done a job like this before, but I'll chuck a link at the end of the video that explains how to prime a power steering pump properly. Guys, just before we start, we do have this product available on our website. I'll chuck a link in the top left corner. I'll stick the link in the description. I believe they're $168.30, which is a discount of up to $300 when compared to 4 genuine products. We're basically the cheapest in Australia with 2-night overnight express postage free of charge, which is pretty incredible if you ask me. Right, let's get into it, guys. Right, first things first, I'm going to remove this snorkel. The reason I'm doing that is because I'm going to remove these fans. Believe it or not, it's just literally Phillips heads. This pops off, 2 10 mils, and the whole fan pops up. So it's definitely worth getting that out of the way. That way you can get into these bottom bolts easier and the tensioner easier, etc, etc. So you've got the 2 Phillips heads. Quite a lot of pressure with your Phillips head so that you don't thread the top of the bolt, top of the screw. That little tray up here, you can just place everything out of the way. These just pop off like this. Place that up here like that. This hose, you just bring it up, pull it up through like that. For now, you can just tuck it behind this pump. We're going to grab 2 10mm screws just here. Just a 10mm ratcheting wrench. Gonna just get the first one here. One here. 2 screws up out of the way. There's just a little plug here. You just depress the little plug, pull the plug out, and then these fans just lift out like that. Nice and easy, right? There you go. Just place that out of the way. Right. There's your pump there. Now, in order to get this, the first thing we need to do is take this fan belt off. That's pretty straightforward. But then after that, I think you have 3 13 mils. You've got 1 here, 1 behind here, and 1 there. At that point, you come around the back of the pump, and if you just have a look in there, you see that little bolt just there. Yeah, I think it's an 18 mil. You can use an open end spanner. But yeah, you just pull that off. That's the last step. Okay, so at this point, you use a 3/8 drive big wrench, and you just take that tensioner to the right, and you'll note that that fan belt becomes loose, and you can just pull it off the pulley. Now you want to try and kind of pull it off in a way where you don't lose it off everything else. That way you can just put it all back on once we're finished here. Right, so I'm going to pull this cap off. Just like that, and place it out of the way, and you can pull this trim off, and that way you can get in there a bit easier. And at this point, you have that 17 mil, the back of the pump. There you go, crack it. There you go, so it's loose there now. And at that point, you get those 3 13s on the front, and the pump will actually pull off. Right, so before you undo the 3 13s on the front, what I want you to do first is crack the high pressure power steering line. It's a 16 mil. Obviously just place it on your socket there. And remember, lefty loosey, so you just give it a crack. You can loosen it off a bit, not too much. See how it's just nice and loose there, wobbling around. This one here is obviously just a flathead screwdriver, an 8 mil. Loosen that off. You can, once you've loosened that 8 mil off, you can twist that hose so that it's loose on the pipe. That way it's not bound together and going to cause you dramas once you've got this pump off. Right, at that point, guys, you got your 3 13s on the front. You just put the 13 mil through the pulley. One. Got 1 down the very bottom somewhere. Yep, there it is. 2. And then the last one requires a little extension. 3. So you pull those 3 bolts out, and at that point, as long as you've undone the one at the back, you've undone these 2 lines here. One, this little low pressure line, the high pressure line, you just pull that out, pop it to the side, make sure it's not leaking. This pump will just pop up into the air. Right, so as you take your pump off, you will have undone that top 18. This one doesn't get used at all. You've got your 3 13s in the front, and obviously at that point, you're ready to put your new one back on. I'm not going to pull mine off because obviously there's no point. I've shown you how to do it there. Just follow those steps, high pressure line off, low pressure line off, tuck them out of the way, even put a bung in them. Just make sure you put a little rag under the car though. Put a little rag under the car, that way any drips that you do drip down just fall onto that rag. But at that point, guys, you put that one to the side, fluid or not. You can either bung up the holes or drain it onto the ground or into a little drum or something. Then you grab your new one, plop your new one in, bang, 2 13s, and then the one down the very bottom. Tighten up the 18mm on the back, put your low pressure hose back on, high pressure hose back on, and then tighten everything up. Bang, 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 all the way around. Cap off, fill it with fluid, and then check out that link that I've left in the description below our video. Three bolts nice and tight. Got your 18mm, your 17mm rather at the back. Nice and tight, that's actually a support one. And you can put your high pressure line on the back on, nice and tight. Obviously it just goes in there. Now if you're putting a new O-ring set in, make sure your O-ring's flush and installed correctly. That's got to be pretty tight, but not too tight where you crush the O-ring. And then you just slide your low pressure hose back on, tighten the little 8mm back up to specification, which is just really hand tight. It doesn't have to be too tight, it's only a low pressure side. Right, so you've got your new pump installed. It's not primed yet, because first things first, we're gonna get this fan belt back on. Remember our big 3/8 drive bar inserts into the tensioner down below. Just find it, you'll find it eventually. And then remember, we just apply some pressure, tensioner goes to its maximum point, and then bring this fan belt, hopefully we're able to bring it up without losing it off anything else, and just tuck it back over that pulley. Might be a little bit of a struggle, it's to be expected. Yeah, see, it just slips in there. And then just before you let go, you can just make sure it's all lined up. You saw me pop that one on, and it's on the water pump down there, it's on the alternator, and then as you let go of the pressure, that pressure should apply evenly. Right, so now we're going to put the fans back in. So we'll tuck that hose behind the pump again. Now when you're reinstalling the fans, these tabs have to line up the bottom of the radiator. It's fairly straightforward. Place the radiator in, the radiator fans in. You just gotta, yeah, it does. So the right side has to go down first. That way it fits through. As you lower it down, you should find, as it touches the bottom, slots into place. There it is there. Mine's slotted in. And just put it into the position where it's, these little points are lining up there and there. Now before we go any further, just reach down and grab the electrical plug. Hopefully that's not too difficult. Bring it up, plug it in. There you go there, see it's plugged in there like that. And at that point, remember you got your 2 10mm screws. See, I'm gonna place mine in with my hands first, without using, and I should be able to tighten it with my fingers. And don't forget to place this hose back under this trim. Okay, all done guys. Took about half an hour exactly. Pretty happy with that job. Wasn't too much spillage underneath, etc, etc. I'd probably say my piece of advice, it's definitely worth taking the fan and the intake hose out of the way just in order to get down there to access the area a little bit nicer and easy. That way you're not dropping bolts, you know, cutting your hand on the fan blade, etc, etc. I've been there and done all that type of shit before, and it's just better if we stay away from that. As I said at the beginning of the video, guys, we do have this product available. Check it out in our description down below. And guys, if you are interested in this type of thing, it helped you out, give us a like, thumbs up, and maybe subscribe to the channel if it's the type of thing you're interested in. Alrighty guys, my name's Lucas Drabsch. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Okay.